Hi, Shane here. You're watching Sam for God, and this is Mark. Check her out.
So hi guys, how you doing? Firstly, this is weird. It's so weird to be sat back here on my bed in front of like lights and a proper camera and a tripod filming, because I haven't done that for the past month. The whole month of December I spent doing Vlogmas, which if you haven't checked out, you should check it out, because I'll put a link down below of the actual what's the word I'm looking for, playlist. Everything's there. It was fun and a lot of you were really nice about it, so thank you so much if you watched it. Like, it meant a lot to me. But it's weird. It's good to be kind of back to normal now though. Anyway, today I want to talk about my top 5 musicals of 2015. I've done that for the past, I think, 4 years now. I did one in 2011, 2012, 2013, 14. Yeah, it's my 5th year doing it. So it's almost become like a tradition for my channel. And yeah, I just want to talk to you about my personal favourite musicals of 2015 that I saw for the first time. Now, before we get into it, I must admit I didn't see very many musicals in 2015. Not many new musicals anyway. I revisited a lot of my like favourites, old favourites, quite a lot. But new musicals, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure like I saw everything that I wanted to see, so maybe there just weren't that many new musicals out. Like, because I can't even think of a new musical that came out that I didn't see, that I wanted to see. So, I mean, I suppose Elf would have been quite nice to see, just because the movie's quite funny, and it would have been nice to see how it works on stage, but the prices were too expensive and I was not prepared to pay that. But apart from that, I saw everything I wanted to see. So anyway, let's get to my top 5. We'll start with number 5, and at number 5 it's Mary Poppins the Musical, the touring production. I recently made a review of it as well. I saw it back in November, I think it was. It was my first time ever seeing Mary Poppins on stage, and I really liked it. I thought it was a really good production. I wasn't necessarily too happy about the cast, but as a show, I thought it was great. Really enjoyed it. So did my brother, who I saw it with. Am I in a rush to see it again? No, but I would like to see it again at some point. Like, it's a show that I'd, you know, take friends and family to, and I'd recommend to people, if you know what I mean. So yeah, not much more to say about it. If you want to check out my review, I'll link it down below. But let's get to number 4. At number 4 is Gypsy. Now, I think a lot of you would be quite surprised as to how low it is on my list. Like, everybody loves Gypsy. Everyone thinks it's the best show or best revival of a show ever, and I really enjoyed it too. And again, my review will be down below, the link to it, so you can watch it. I loved it. I was surprised at how much I loved it, because it's a Sondheim musical and I'm not the biggest Stephen Sondheim fan. I'd like to be. Like, I haven't seen enough of his work, I guess, but so far I've probably seen about maybe 6, 7 of his productions, not his productions but his shows on stage, and I've not been a big fan of any of them really. But Gypsy was amazing. Really liked it. And I mean, the main reason for it, not gonna lie, was Imelda Staunton's performance. And again, I can't think of anybody seeing her performance live or even on TV. Like, it was on TV the other day. You should go check it out. It's on iPlayer still probably. But yeah, I can't imagine anyone seeing her performance and not thinking it's amazing, because for me it was one of the best performances I've ever seen on stage. Like, she was fantastic in it, and I'm so glad that they filmed the show, because not everyone can watch it and stuff. But yeah, for me, her performance was the thing that stood out. Like, it's been about, I saw the show back in, I think it was March or something, very long time ago, March of 2015, and you know, after all this time, I don't necessarily remember every part of the show, but the bits that I remember are like Imelda Staunton's moments in the show, and that just shows how memorable her performance was and how amazing she was. And yeah, I loved it. Really enjoyed it. At number 3 is a musical that I saw back in the summer of 2015, and it's a Fringe musical, and it's called I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. A very strange name. The title itself made me lol before I even saw the show, but honestly, the title is a good representation of what the show's about, because the show was absolutely hilarious. It's not even like a proper musical. Like, I can't really explain what it is. Like, it's mostly like different scenes. Like, yeah, it's basically like a combination of scenes, different scenarios, and it had only 4 actors in it, and Gina Beck was in it. She was one of the main reasons I wanted to go and see it. And they just kind of sing songs and like talk a little bit about each other. It was mainly about love, hence the name of the show, like I love you, you're perfect, now change. But it was like, it was very real. The scenarios were quite real, and that's what made them very funny, and the songs were brilliant in it. I'd actually heard some of the songs before, because I feel like the songs had been, you know, sung or played in the musical theatre concerts before. I just loved it. I thought the cast was fantastic. Gina Beck obviously was amazing. Julie Atherton was in it. She was hilarious. Simon Lipkin was brilliant. It was just a really fun show. I mean, I think it was only like an hour long or something, maybe an hour and a half, but really fun, really funny, and I wish I could have seen it again. Like, but I think I saw like one of the final shows, and it was quite sold out as well. I mean, it was in a very small theatre, very tiny theatre, in the Arts Theatre, but not the actual area of the Arts Theatre. The little area above it or something literally holds about 20-30 people, I think. But no, it was really good. I very much enjoyed it. At number 2, we've got Beautiful, the Carole King musical. Again, my review for that will be down below. You can check it out if you want. I loved it. This was again one of those shows that I didn't expect to love, but I really enjoyed. Now, I've only seen it once. I do plan on going back to it sometime in 2016. But I really enjoyed it. I saw it, I think, back in February it was, with my friend Matt, and I just thought it was a very good, classy jukebox musical. Like, I really liked it. The production was great, the music was great. I was surprised at how many songs I knew. Like, the story fascinated me itself. I didn't know the story of Carole King before, and so it was very interesting to see it on stage, and I thought the way they like put songs into the show was quite clever. It didn't really even feel like a jukebox musical, but yeah, I just thought it had a really good cast as well. I mean, Carole King herself was played by Katie Braben, who was phenomenal in the show. Again, one of the best performances I've seen on stage ever. She won an Olivia, I believe, for a performance, which is very much deserved. And I mean, she's not in the show anymore. I think she's been replaced by Cassidy Jansen, who I actually really want to go and see because I saw Cassidy Jansen in Avenue Q many times and in a few other shows like back in the day, so I'm sure she'd be really good as well. So I'm actually really curious to see what she's going to be like as Carole King. But yeah, I loved Carole King. I recommend it. I think I'm going to take my dad at some point in the new year. And finally, at number 1, I think you probably all know what it's going to be, but my number 1 favourite new musical of 2015 was Bend It Like Beckham. Bend It Like Beckham is just one of the most heartwarming, inspiring, feel-good, genuine, happy shows that I've ever seen. I've now seen it about 6 times, and funnily enough, it's the only new show of 2015 that I actually went back to, and that says a lot about it. Like, I just really liked it. I don't think it's a perfect show. Like, although I really love it and I enjoy every minute of it myself, I understand that it's not a perfect show. There are little bits and bobs in it that I would personally maybe change a little bit, but it doesn't matter. For me, it's just about the whole thing together, and I love it. It's a great show. It makes me happy. The music in it for me is perfect. I love Howard Goodall. I think it's a great score. I don't understand people who don't like the music, but I don't know, it might just be me. I just really like his music. It's got an amazing cast every single time I've seen the show, and I've seen quite a lot of understudies in the show as well. I've seen probably an understudy for every lead character in the show by this point, and they've all been great. I mean, the lead cast as well, amazing. One of the best like ensemble and casts in the West End at the moment, I think. They just work so hard, and they look like they're enjoying themselves on stage every single time I've seen the show, and it's just a good show. It makes me happy. It connects with me. It's a show that I can connect with. I don't know why. It's quite different. It is a different show. Like, there's nothing like it in the West End at the moment, or it hasn't even been something like it in the past few years either. And I just think it's a great show, and please go and see it. Like, if you haven't seen it yet, go and see it this year, because you'll be surprised. Like, I went in with such low expectations, and during the interval I already knew that I was going to come back to it because I loved it so much. So yeah, that's basically my number 1 pick. Now, of course, I didn't see just musicals in 2015. I also saw some plays and some other kind of various shows like dance shows and stuff. But I didn't see enough plays or other various shows to be able to make a list of them. However, I do want to point out a few from each category. I saw a dance show, Edward Scissorhands, back in January of 2015, and I never made a review on it or anything because it was like the last leg of the tour. Liam Moore from Billy Elliot was in it. He was fantastic, and the show itself was amazing as well. I really enjoyed it. It was very it was my first time seeing it. I'd never even seen the Edward Scissorhands film, so it was my first experience to it, and I loved it. The dancing in it was beautiful. The sets were great. I just thought it was a very good kind of Christmassy January type show. I also saw about maybe 3 or 4 plays this year, but my favourite by a mile would have to be Jane Eyre at the National Theatre. I saw it during Vlogmas during December, so if you want to check out my vlog for it, I'll leave it down below to see like my initial thoughts of it. But it was amazing. One of the best plays I've ever seen. It was so creatively staged. I mean, the National are known for doing like really good productions anyway, but Jane Eyre was just something else. Like, I love the book anyway, the book of Jane Eyre. I read it as a child, and it was just amazing seeing it on stage and done so well and in a very clever way. Like, I can't say enough good things about it. Go and see it if you can. It's actually on, I think, until the end of January, but it's also going to be in cinemas and stuff because they filmed it National Live and stuff. So if it ever gets screened in your local cinema, go and see it. Also, I normally do like a favourite general theatre highlight of the year. I've done it in the previous years, and I need to do it again this year because there were quite a lot of interesting and good theatre moments that weren't musicals in 2015 for me. I mean, Billy Elliot's 10th anniversary was one that was really good. Kerry Ellis and Louise Dearman's concert at the Prince Edward Theatre was a really good night. However, for me personally, my non-musical theatre highlight of 2015 was going to see Whose Line Is It Anyway at the Adelphi Theatre. Now, believe it or not, I'd never really seen any episodes of Whose Line Is It Anyway before seeing the show. Like, I'd heard of the show, of course, and I'd probably seen like bits of it, clips and stuff on YouTube or on TV and stuff, but I'd never actually sat down and watched an episode, so it was quite new to me. But my friend had tickets for it and she asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, why not? They were free. Didn't know what to expect really, and I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favourite nights at the theatre in 2015. The show was just hilarious. I mean, if you're familiar with Whose Line Is It Anyway, you probably know. It's basically an improv show, and I can't explain to you how fun it was to watch some people do improvisation on stage like for 2 hours. Honestly, like, it's hard for me to laugh, but I was laughing throughout the whole thing. And you know, props to the actors, like, they were phenomenal. It was so good, and they took suggestions from the audience, and everything was so spontaneous, and that's what made it so funny. I honestly, my face muscles like hurt by the end of the show. It had like quite a lot of the original people in it as well, like Colin Mockery, who I believe is actually in like Whose Line Is It Anyway and has been for many years. Greg Proops was in it. You know, it was just a very hilarious show. I loved it, and I'd say that would probably have to be my highlight of 2015 theatre wise. But anyway guys, that's it for now. Please leave comments down below and let me know of your favourite musicals or shows or plays, or just any kind of theatre shows that you saw in 2015. Let me know if you agree with my opinions, and you know, just leave comments down below. Let's chat about theatre. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all had a great new year, and I'll see you next time. Bye!